All right, boys and girls, Marlo Madness here from Marlo Madness Motors. You see anything different? Yeah, the new track is in. All right, I don't have a light handy. Take my word for it. The drive shaft is in with a new bearing over on the left-hand side. I know my lighting's going to be horrible here. Trust me, there's a bearing down here on the end of that drive shaft. New bearing, some grease in it, ready to go. The guide wheels on two outer guide wheels on the shaft got new set screws in them to lock them in place. That's all done, and bam, we're back to where we were. Yeah, probably about 4 or 5 months ago. I am a lazy son of a gun. But we're getting there. Everything's back together now here. Chain is properly tensioned now. It was too loose before. We're ready for the cover to go back on, and I found out when I went to pick up my parts that it's not supposed to be motor oil in here. It's actually supposed to be gear oil, so I have some 80/90. That's going to go in there. A little bit of that from the old Canadian Tire. And then we can put the exhaust back on, which runs from there and goes around like this and out that hole. All right. All right, next update. We are together, and I'm waiting for that to cure a little bit before I really snug it down and put the oil in. So I thought, while I'm waiting for that, in the meantime, I will struggle to get the suspension back in. It's in, but it's got to be all bolted up yet, of course. I think it's going to be a fight too, but I'm going to take the jack here, slide it underneath there, and use the jack to lift it to where it needs to be, and hopefully be able to move it around. I'm not videoing this stuff because I'm sure anybody who's not done this before is going to figure it out for themselves by the way it came out. But it's ready to be bolted back in. The front is done, except for the exhaust to be put back on. But I can't put the exhaust back on until after I'm all done with this cover. I just snugged it for now so that the RTV has a chance. There's a gasket still there, but I wanted to boot some RTV on top of it because the gasket's old and I didn't buy a new one. Things that go on. Anyway, but once we're done, once that's cured and I can put oil in it, then I'll put the exhaust back on. I just thought I'd bring this next step to you. So yeah, I think I've seen different guys in different videos to do it, and I think that's a good way to do it. We're going to try it anyway. Put this jack underneath the suspension so I can jack the suspension to wherever it needs to be and move it around, hopefully. And rebolt the suspension back into the machine. Fingers crossed. And just like that. Case is tight. It's got oil in it. And as you can see, the exhaust is back on. I am going to struggle with this suspension. I've got it in there, but I don't have it anywhere near bolted up. It's a ways off yet. And for those of you who are laughing at me now because you've done this before and you know the fight, thanks a lot. Yeah. All right, truth be told, it's a couple days later, and we are at our final hurdle, which is getting that suspension in. And I did see a couple of videos that recommended things that were definitely different than what I'm doing. For one, it needs to come off that lift. And for two, I need to keep the back end elevated for now. And this strap I got holding it up in there in the front should come out and be put back here to collapse the suspension back here to give you more room to work. Yeah, it's still not going to be easy, but that should help. Because the bolt holes aren't lined up. We're close. In fact, I think that's too high. But we'll see how it goes. Bring you back. Wow. Whew. Okay, I had to stop yesterday. I was getting so frustrated, but here's the aftermath. It's actually in there. And yeah, there was wood blocks and floor jacks and screwdrivers and ratchet straps and wrenches and sockets. Oh, and the biggest thing I learned today, yeah, tap and die set. Used the die on all 4 bolts yesterday to help, but I neglected to run the tap through the suspension. And well, I did the front ones, actually did the front ones yesterday, and then the back ones I did today, and that was a big help. And yeah, it was a struggle. It's not something I look forward to ever doing again, but it is in there. It needs to be tensioned yet, which I'll get to in a few minutes, but it's in there. Bolted in, and it definitely needs to be tensioned because we let it off as much as possible to be able to get it in there. But yeah, it's in there. Thank God. I don't envy anybody who decides to do this on their own, but I did it. I made it. When the tension gets too high and you get too frustrated, walk away, which is what I had to do yesterday. And here we are, middle of March. Yep, snow is pretty much gone, but I don't care. I love to tinker. And I'm going to reset the machine here so that I can do the tension, and then we'll go from there. Whew, all right, and with that, we are done. The lift is out from underneath. She's on rollers. We're obviously not going to get any ride time this year because, well, that's the most snow we got. The rest of it's bare grass, and I'm not trailering nowhere. So, here we are. Track is in, track is tensioned, the recoil is ready to go. I had to retension the recoil too. I tensioned the track according to what everybody says. Down here, you should be able to, when it's not on here, when it's suspended, you should be able to fit 2 fingers below there. Did that on both sides. Yeah, she's ready to be ridden, well, at this point, probably next year. Just a reminder, this is an 83 Yamaha SRV540. I'm looking for, and it's hard to find, a couple of really good left and right cap that goes over the shock tower. These are split and brittle. If I could get some that are in really nice shape, new or used, for not too bad a price, I'd go for it. Those are bugging me. But other than that, she's a ditch runner, basically. A fast ditch runner, but a ditch runner nonetheless. 540 will kick your butt. All these new machines, 900 to 1100, 1200 cc's with turbo and stuff, unreal. I don't want to, that's not a weapon I want. This one here is big enough and will do what I want. And yeah, here's what it is. With that, this ends the series of changing a track on a 1983 Yamaha SRV540. And this is Marlo from Marlo Madness Motors signing off. Till next time, thank you for watching, and see you again.